Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Ted Carr here, and I've been doing intermittent fasting now all summer long. In fact, I started about in May and June, so it's been 3 to 4 months since I've been doing this, and I want to tell you 3 things that I really enjoy about intermittent fasting. But before I do, I want to say that I've been eating a raw vegan diet now for the past 9.5 years, so going on a decade of eating just raw food, and I've only made a couple changes to my lifestyle since then, or what has appeared to me to be big changes to my lifestyle since I started doing raw food. And those 2 changes are meditation and intermittent fasting. So once I went raw, or once I became a raw vegan, started eating raw food, my entire life changed for the better. And everything changed. I mean, my relationships changed, where I live changed, what I watched on YouTube changed, the way I look changed. Everything changed when I went raw vegan. And then when I started meditating, things changed again for the better. Everything just became much more cool, much more calm. I realized how much more control I had over my life just by being more present in the moment and being more in control with my thoughts, with my mind. And that was really cool. So I made a big shift when I started doing meditation. And now, since I started doing intermittent fasting, I've again come across, what's going on, Patrick? You don't need to hide, bro, it's all good. I've come across another complete lifestyle change, another complete lifestyle overhaul. So the 3 things I really love about intermittent fasting are as follows. The first one would be just feeling empty, like nothing is going into my body, nothing's coming out of my body, I just feel empty for a lot of the day. And I fast for about 20 hours a day, and I have a 4-hour eating window. So when I'm not eating, it feels like I'm done, I'm empty. Like my body doesn't have to process stuff. Now I know it's not actually true, like my body is still continuously processing stuff, but it just feels like I'm done. It feels like I'm empty because I'm not shoveling stuff in anymore. Whereas before I would start eating at like 9 a.m. and I stop eating around 9 p.m., eating for 12 hours. And some people still get benefits from doing a 12-hour eating window, but when I talk about intermittent fasting, I'm talking about like an 8 to 6 or 4 or 2-hour eating window. To me, that's real intermittent fasting. 12-hour eating window is kind of like whatever, but apparently people get crazy benefits from doing a 12-hour eating window. But because I love feeling empty, I want to maximize that feeling of emptiness. I want to feel like I'm done. I don't need food. I want to be, detached from food. And when I'm only eating 4 hours a day, I really get that. And it's interesting because before I went into OMAD, before I got into intermittent fasting, I thought that it just wasn't for me, because I thought, I like food, I love eating. Why would I want to limit myself from eating? But you know what I love more than eating? Not eating. If we could not eat and still get all the energy and all the nutrition that we needed through just air and sunshine or something, then sign me up, that'd be great. But the fact is, we're not breatharians, we're frugivores, we're fruitarian. We've got to be eating we've got to be eating enough food to sustain us. But if you shorten that eating window down to 4 hours, you're going to feel a lot emptier throughout the day, and that feels really, really good. The second benefit comes along hand in hand with that. Because I feel empty most of the time now, for 20 hours a day, my body fat percentage has gone way down. And I'd show you now, but the camera doesn't show off too well, but I feel just a lot stronger, a lot more lean. Like camera's not showing well right now, but I guess you can kind of see. This is at the end of the day here, and I've already eaten. It's now 5 o'clock. I finished my last meal at 4 p.m. So I'm leaner than I've ever been before. I'm gonna go get body fat percent tested next week when I get back to Canada, and that's gonna be really cool to see, because I remember I got tested, I think it was 2012 or something, about 2012, 2011, and I'd been fruitarian by then for like a couple of years at least, maybe 3-4 years, been fruitarian by then. And I went and got tested, and I was super skinny, and my body fat percentage was like 18%, because I didn't have any muscle on me. A lot of people just think if you're skinny, you got low body fat, but the fact is, if you're skinny, you probably have much higher body fat than someone who's a bit bigger if they have a bit more muscle on them. The lowest body fat percent people in the world, they're big bodybuilders. Anorexics, people who are very, very skinny, like freaking this skinny, those people actually have like 50% body fat, because body fat percentage goes way down when you put on some muscle. So if you want to get leaner, put on some muscle. So since I've been doing intermittent fasting, I've been working out a bit more, like not a bit more, but I mean, just I've been keeping up my strength training practice. And it's showing off a lot more now. I love my reflection in the mirror much more than ever before. And the other crazy thing is, yeah, I'm leaner, I think I look better, but also I don't have a bloat. Like before, if I used to just relax, I'd have like this bloat. Maybe right now, I mean, I've just eaten. It's like I just stopped eating about an hour ago. But if I just completely relax right now, that's like my beer belly. It's not much. Before, when I was doing fruit all the time, it was like that. Like that really hurts to push that out. But now, obviously that's six pack. But if I just relax, it's like that. Whereas before, it used to always be like that. That is just crazy, dude. Like, I don't like doing that. It just hurts when I push it out. But that's really cool. Just being flatter more often. And then the third thing that I really like about intermittent fasting is that I just eat less. I eat less. And I love that because one thing that all the longest living people in the world have in common is they eat less calories than their counterparts. They typically stop eating when they're about 80% full. So they don't go till they're stuffed, they just go to about 80% and they're done. And when you're doing intermittent fasting, you can eat as much as you want in the short eating window, and you can stuff yourself in the short eating window, but you're not going to get anywhere near as many calories as you would be if you're eating from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. When you're eating from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., you're just able to get in way more calories. Your body has way more time to process stuff and push it through and push it through and push it through. When you give yourself a short eating window, like 4 hours, your body doesn't have much time to process it. You know, my 4-hour eating window is really made up of like two sections. I have a section when I break the fast, I eat quite a bit, and I have a section right before the end around like 3:30 where I finish off a bit. And by the time I start that 3:30 meal, like I'm not even that hungry. I don't really need to eat that meal. I could almost do just like one sitting, like a 1-hour sitting, and just stuff myself in. But I like to break it up a bit into like, you know, these two sections because if I do just one meal, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just too stuffed. I don't want to too stuff myself. I don't want to be uncomfortable with this. You know, it's supposed to be really enjoyable. But one thing I got to mention as well is that it gets back to the second point about just being leaner, being thinner, having lower body fat percentage. The reason that is because when you don't eat any sugar, and as a fruitarian, I typically eat a lot of sugar in my meals. When you don't eat any sugar, insulin doesn't get released. And when insulin doesn't get released, human growth hormone can get released. But once you start eating sugar, insulin gets released. And it takes about 6 hours for that insulin to come back down to base level if you're a healthy individual. It takes about 6 hours for insulin to come back down to base level. And once insulin's back at base level, then human growth hormone can start getting released again. So, before I started eating at 9 a.m., insulin gets released, and it's going to be released throughout the whole frickin' day until I stop eating around 9 p.m. And then from 9 p.m. to like 4 a.m. or something, insulin still in the system, human growth hormone can't get released till about 4 a.m. So it's only from like 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. that I was getting any human growth hormone release. But human growth hormone is so important, it's so vital, especially if you want to look vital, if you want to look healthy, you want to look young. And when you're doing intermittent fasting, if you can fast for 18 to 20 hours, that's going to be perfect because human growth hormone seems to peak around the 18-hour mark for guys. And you can start releasing 2,000% more human growth hormone during an 18-hour fasting window, during a 20-hour fasting window, than you would be if you're just eating all day throughout the day, like I used to do. So that's really cool. When your body is releasing human growth hormone, it's tearing down fats, breaking down fats, using fat as fuel. So keep that in mind next time you want to get leaner, look a bit better, be a bit healthier. The longer you can fast each day, the better. And I recommend starting out with like an 8-hour eating window. Just skipping breakfast, starting to eat at noon, and stopping to eat at 8 p.m. That's how I got into intermittent fasting a while back, like maybe about a year ago. I just started skipping breakfast. I started eating around 10 or 11, and I try and stop around 6 or 7 p.m. And then eventually, after more and more influence from other people, I started doing a 6-hour eating window, and I thought that was pretty great. And I'd go from 12 to 6, just keep it tight, 12 to 6, and I thought that was awesome. Even 2 to 4 p.m. 2 to 8 p.m. would be great. But I didn't want to eat so late at night. I like to go to bed completely empty. And back to that first benefit I was talking about, being completely empty. When you go to bed empty, you don't need to wake up to pee. You just go to bed completely empty, and you wake up completely empty. You feel good. Whereas before on a fruit diet, I was eating a lot. Not before on a fruit diet, I'm still on a fruit diet. But before when I was eating throughout the day, I'd go to bed and I have to wake up to pee. And halfway through the night, I got to get up to pee again. And first thing in the morning, the thing will wake me up the most, so having to get up and pee. But now I go to bed and I don't need to go pee. And I go through it the whole night. I don't need to pee at all. It's amazing. I sleep through it the whole night. It's fantastic. And then I wake up in the morning, and the thing that gets me out of bed is not having to go pee. The thing that gets me out of bed in the morning is just waking up, feeling good. So these are my thoughts. These are my insights. This is my experience on intermittent fasting. Recommend giving it a go. And if you're interested in intermittent fasting with myself and with some friends, I'm going to be hosting a retreat at in the middle of August, actually, in my hometown, right where I grew up, right beside a beautiful forest called Mundy Park. So if you're interested in that, check out the retreat by the link in the description. You can sign on up ASAP. As soon as you fill out the application form, I'll give you a ring, and we can chat right after that. All right, peace out, much love from Poughkeepsie, New York.